Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Brian and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Olsa Tools half-inch split beam torque wrench, part number 1157, so stick around. Now recently I did a video where I was explaining torque wrenches and how each torque wrench works, whether it be the beam style, split beam style, click style, or digital torque wrenches. If you haven't seen that video, I'm gonna put it up top right here. Today what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a look at this Olsa Tools half-inch torque wrench. As I said, now as always, I wanna be 100% completely honest, Olsa Tools did send this torque wrench out to me. And with that being said, I'd like to thank them for sending this to me, because if you don't know, what I'm gonna be doing is anytime I get tools or some of the tools I buy or some of the tools that I have and I don't use that are new, I'm gonna put in a cart and I'm gonna donate it to a local community college, to a student at a local community college. And I'm working out the details on that. Now, I don't have everything I need right now to do it anyway, so I'm building up as I go along, and I'm gonna do updated videos as I go along as well until I get all of the tools needed to put in that tool cart, which I'm gonna just buy a 5-drawer tool cart from Harbor Freight. And once I have all the tools that I think would be good for somebody to start out with, then I'm gonna give that cart away with the tools as said. And the main reason I wanna thank them, because I think this is actually something that would go good in a cart like that, because you might be asking yourself, if you don't know, what is a split beam torque wrench? Now, as I explained in the other video, how they work, these have a lot fewer moving parts than, say, your traditional click style torque wrench, and then obviously your digital torque wrench is going to be ran off of an electrical current. But like I said, you can find all that information in that video. So let's take a look at this torque wrench. I'm going to explain how it works, and I'll also explain why I think this is great for somebody working in a mechanic shop. But first, let's go ahead and talk about Olsa Tools. In 2015, they were founded. And they're most known for, I think, their socket organization. They have some great socket rails, but they also have some hand tools. And I've also already done a video on some 100-tooth ratcheting wrenches from Olsa Tools. I'll link that up top as well. Those seem like some good ratcheting wrenches. Now, they are a little bit unique in their design, as they have a 6-point box end, where most of your traditional box ends have 12-point. Now, they both have their advantages and their weaknesses, but I think it's something good to have, and those wrenches as well are going to be going in that cart. But they offer a few different variety of hand tools. They have screwdrivers, adjustable wrenches, they have ratcheting wrenches, as I just spoke about. So they are a relatively new company, but let me tell you what I found out as well about this torque wrench and a lot of their other tools. They actually give you, if I understand this correctly, 365 days to return a product for an exchange or a refund if you're unhappy with their products. So that's pretty big. I mean, I don't know many companies that will give you that big of a window. And if I'm correct in that, I think that's something that's definitely a draw to Olsa Tools, and something that I think they should definitely keep up with, because that's unprecedented as far as I know about tool companies giving you a whole year to exchange or refund a tool. And as I said, they're relatively new, so this is obviously a work in progress, but so far they look like they're doing a pretty good job to me. So I definitely think, as a company that I'm gonna look at, and a company that I think a lot of you should probably just take a look at as well. Let's go ahead and talk about this torque wrench. Now, we can take a look at it. It definitely looks like a nice torque wrench. I definitely love the color scheme of it. The chrome looks really nice. The handle is really comfortable. It's a wide handle, but for me, that feels good in my hand, because I happen to have kind of big hands. So I do prefer a wider grip and a bigger grip when working with especially tools like this. This thing ranges from 50 foot-pounds to 250 foot-pounds. And if we take a look on the top here, we can see an arrow. These torque wrenches will only turn in one direction, which is the on direction. Now, if you're using a torque wrench, you should never be turning that torque wrench in the off position unless the fastener you're trying to torque down is a left-handed thread fastener, because you should never be loosening bolts with a torque wrench. These are precision instruments, and they definitely should be handled with care. And this torque wrench also features a flex head, which will flex 15 degrees in either direction to be able to allow you to get on fasteners and be able to fit in other areas where your traditional fixed head torque wrenches may not allow you to get in there. So that is a great feature of this. Now the tooth count on this is only 32 teeth. So it is a lower tooth count tool. But with that being said, I don't think that that's such a big deal with this torque wrench, and I'm going to explain why here in a few minutes. But we can also look inside this case. They do give you an instruction manual, and this also comes with a certificate of calibration. Now, this is supposedly accurate within plus to minus 4%. Unfortunately, I cannot verify that. I don't have the equipment to be able to verify something like that, but the fact that they give you a certificate that they've tested this for you coming out the gate so you can rest a little easier when using this tool. It also includes on the certificate the serial number of the tool, so that way you can verify that yes, this was in fact the tool that they tested. And in the instruction manual, they show you how to operate this tool, which I'm going to explain to you. And they also give you a formula in case you have to use some sort of extender and you're torquing down a fastener. The torque that you read off the torque wrench is not going to be accurate. You're going to have to be able to plug in your measurements into this formula, and then it's going to be able to give you the torque that you need to be at for the particular extension that you have on the end of the torque wrench. Now I'm going to show you how this torque wrench works. We can see on the side that there's a little lever. You can simply pull that lever down like that, and there's a knob. Now this knob adjusts your torque, which has, as you can see, a readout of the torque you're at. The great thing about this knob style like this is that this can be adjusted really easily. It only requires one hand. You can flip it down, and I can adjust it with just my thumb, pinky, forefinger, however you want it to adjust it. So it is really easy to adjust. The resistance doesn't change as you adjust this because of the way the internals of these work, which once again, I explained in the video about how torque wrenches work. And we can also hear, once we reach the torque on a fastener, this has a really loud, heavy click. So that way there's no doubt that you've reached your desired torque. Now let's talk about why I like this and why I said this would go good in the cart that I'm going to be giving away. I think these style torque wrenches, your beam and your split beam style torque wrenches, are really rugged. Now, if you've ever used one of these click style torque wrenches, then you know that to operate these with one hand is either impossible or really difficult. So you need to have two free hands. So that's an advantage of the split beam as well. Now also, anytime you use this, whenever you're done with it, you're always supposed to, if you don't know, you're always supposed to wind this down to your zero setting, whether it be 50 foot-pounds, whatever the bottom setting is on your torque wrench. You're supposed to unwind this tool because there's a tension spring on the inside, and leaving that spring compressed will throw your torque wrench out of calibration a lot faster. And there's also a lot more moving parts inside of these torque wrenches. So there's a more chance of things to go wrong. So these are really fragile, whereas your split beam torque wrench is more rugged. It's going to be able to withstand a lot more punishment just because of the fact that it doesn't have a bunch of little fine-tuned moving parts on the inside of this. So with these split beam torque wrenches, you do not have to unwind these. You just simply set it and forget it, as they say. But you could set this to a desired torque, whatever the torque may be. Say you was working in a shop and you had to tighten tires and you was tightening a lot of tires. You could just set this torque wrench to whatever the torque, say 100, set it on 100, and all you have to do is flip this lever back up and it's gonna stay at 100. This knob will not move. This lever will not allow this knob to move. So you have this at 100, you can set this in the top of your tool cart, on your toolbox, and anytime you're ready to torque down, whatever you're torquing down, you just grab it, bam, torque it down, and you're done. You set it back up there, wait for the next thing. There's less of a chance of you forgetting to unwind your click style torque wrench. And also, as I spoke, these are a lot more rugged, so if you was to beat them around, set them in your toolbox, they're not gonna come out of spec quite as easy as those click style torque wrenches. Another big advantage is these are gonna last longer. These are not gonna need to be calibrated as much as your click style torque wrenches or your digital torque wrenches. If we look at my Mako torque wrench, these will stay in spec a pretty long time. They estimate that every 5,000 uses, you should have your torque wrench recalibrated. While as these split beam torque wrenches, you don't have to worry about it coming out of spec because you forgot to unwind it when you went home at night, whatever the case may be. And these are gonna last for years and years, and you're never gonna have to worry about it being out of calibration. Now, a great thing about this torque wrench, and probably the biggest thing that I haven't mentioned yet, is that this torque wrench does come with a limited lifetime warranty, and it does come in right now at about $140 on olsatools.com. So $140, you have your good rugged torque wrench that's going to last for a while, less moving parts, and as I said, you could just set it on something. If you had to torque down bolts that were the same foot-pound rating over a long extended period of the day, then you'll always know that this torque wrench is set where you want it. So I think that's a great advantage, and I also think that this will be a great addition to the tool cart that I'm going to be giving away. So once again, I'd like to thank Olsa Tools, and I'd also like to thank you guys for watching. If you found this video helpful, I hope you consider subscribing, because I'll do tool reviews, projects, tips, tricks, and more on this channel. So I hope you stick around. Till next time, stay real.